Hey everyone. Ready to dive into something that might kind of flip your whole view of running?
Ooh, sounds intense.
Yeah.
In.
So we're tackling this idea like baked into fitness, the more you suffer, the better you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely fallen for that one.
We're calling it the cult of hard work, and we're using this article. It's Suffering Isn't Training, Debunking the Cult of Hard Work in Running.
Okay. I like where this is going.
It's wild, right? How we almost brag about how tough our workouts are.
Oh, totally. Social media is full of it. Sweaty selfies, stories about pushing through pain. It's like, who can suffer the most?
Exactly. But this article, it digs into why that's actually super harmful, especially for runners.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you ever gotten caught in that no pain, no gain trap?
Oh, big time. Especially early on, I thought more miles always equaled improvement.
Same here. But I learned the hard way that's not how our bodies work.
So true. This article makes a great point about hard work, which we need, versus just overdoing it, which backfires.
Totally. There's a difference between pushing your limits and just wrecking yourself.
Okay, so where's the line? How do we know if we're growing or just, self-destructing?
Well, think about how you feel after a tough workout. Little sore, maybe tired. That's normal, acute fatigue.
Right, right.
But if you're always pushing, no real recovery, that becomes chronic fatigue. And that's where things go sideways.
So it's like being pleasantly tired versus just feeling wiped out 24/7.
Exactly. And with chronic fatigue, it's not just how you feel. It starts messing with your body, like physiologically.
Oh, wow. Okay, explain that.
So that our bodies, they're meant to adapt to stress, right?
Yeah.
Work hard, you get these tiny muscle tears that you recover, they repair, you get stronger.
Yeah, makes sense.
But if you're always stressed, your body can't keep up with the repairs.
Oh, I see. So you're constantly breaking down without rebuilding. The article called that systemic stress. What's that exactly?
It's like your fight or flight response.
Mm-hmm.
Those stress hormones are just on all the time, messes up hormones, sleep, even your immune system.
No wonder people hit plateaus or even get worse. You're basically working against yourself.
Totally, like trying to drive with the parking brake on. You're pushing, but getting nowhere fast.
This is blowing my mind. I feel like I should apologize to my body for all the times I ignored those signs. I remember once training for a half marathon.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I was so focused on hitting this mileage goal. I was exhausted, legs felt like lead, even had this knee pain starting.
Yikes, but you kept going, huh?
Of course, thought it'd just go away. No pain, no gain.
And I'm guessing it didn't go away.
Nope. Full-blown IT band issue, out for weeks. Talk about a painful lesson in overtraining.
Classic, and sadly so common. We get stuck on more is better, forgetting that rest is as important as the workout itself.
That's so true. The article also emphasized mental fatigue, something I hadn't really thought about before.
Right. Makes sense, though. Mentally drained. Your focus, motivation, decision-making, it all tanks. More mistakes, injuries, you just don't perform as well.
So give me an example. What's that look like, mental fatigue, for a runner?
Imagine you're on a long run, but mentally, you're toast. You might push the pace too hard when you should be conserving energy, or just want to QYT even though your body's fine.
It's like hitting a wall, but in your mind, not your muscles.
Exactly. And it can be just as bad as physical fatigue, if not worse, because we often don't recognize it.
Wow, this is eye-opening. I pushed through workouts mentally fried, thinking it was laziness. Now I see it totally differently.
That's huge. So many people do that. Recognizing it is step one to training smarter.
This whole deep dive's changing how I think about running. Ignoring fatigue, physical and mental, it's not just holding us back, it's actually hurting us.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's where the article gets really interesting, talking about a smarter way to train.
Okay, less doom and gloom, more solutions. What's this smarter approach all about? I'm ready to ditch the pain cult.
Well, first we got to redefine hard work.
Yeah.
It's not punishment. It's consistent, purposeful effort that actually respects your body.
I'm all for that. So how do we do that? What does it look like in practice?
It starts with understanding that different types of runs have different purposes. Easy runs, for example, aren't about speed. They're about recovery, blood flow, building that aerobic base.
Right, makes sense. Speaking of, the article mentioned Eliud Kipchoge, the marathon world record holder, is big on easy runs.
He's a perfect example. Even at his level, most of his runs are easy. It helps flush out waste products from hard workouts, reduces soreness, promotes recovery.
Interesting. So it's not slacking off. It's actively helping yourself recover.
Exactly. And then you have speed workouts, important for, well, speed and efficiency. But those need to be strategic. with rest days built in.
Makes sense. Can't go all out every day and expect to improve.
Nope. And then there's the long run, crucial for endurance. But again, it's not about obliterating yourself. It's finding a sustainable pace for the distance.
Okay, so each run has a purpose. It's about balancing effort and recovery. I'm totally rethinking my approach here. Anything else key to training smart?
Big one, and this is where it gets tricky, is learning to listen to our bodies. It's like, can you tell the difference between pushing your limits and that discomfort versus like pain that means something's wrong?
That's what I struggle with. How do we know?
It's tough. Takes practice.
Hmm.
But think about the type of discomfort. Say you're doing intervals, right? You'll feel that burn, maybe some out of breath. That's productive.
Okay, so that's fine. It's like a sign I'm working hard but not actually hurting myself.
Exactly. But if you've got soreness or pain that gets worse or it's sharp in one spot, that's a red flag.
Gotcha. Those are the stop now signs. No more pushing through it.
Yep. Ignoring those can lead to real injuries, setbacks, pains your body's alarm system. Got to learn to listen if you want to stay healthy and keep improving.
Makes sense, but easier said than done, right? It's almost like we got to relearn how to feel that difference.
Totally. It's a skill. So how do we get better at it? Awareness is key. Pay attention during A&D after your runs. Aches, pains, tightness, but also...
Oh, like how's my energy overall, my mood even, not just the physical stuff.
Exactly. It's mind, A&D, body. The more you tune in, the better you get at recognizing those signals. The key is then actually honoring them.
That's where I think a lot of runners, myself included, get tripped up. We know we should rest, but then it's guilt, like we're slacking.
Ugh, it's true. Rest has almost become a bad word in fitness. But the reality is, rest is where the magic happens.
Okay, tell me more about this magic. I'm sold on rest being a superpower now.
Remember how we talked about those tiny muscle tears? Well, rest is when they repair. That's how you adapt and get stronger. It's also refilling your energy, balancing hormones, letting your mind de-stress.
So it's not just avoiding injury, it's how we actually get stronger faster.
Exactly. Think of it like baking. You can't just keep adding ingredients, got to give it time in the oven. Rest is that baking time for your body.
Perfect analogy. I'm seeing rest in a whole new light now. But how a meet CH rest is enough?
Great question, and we'll get to that. But first, let's see this in action. The article highlights two runners, Kilian Jornet and Shalane Flanagan.
Oh, I know those names. Killian's the ultramarathon guy, right? And Shalane, she's an Olympic marathoner.
Yep. And what's fascinating is they both, even though they do different types of running, they're all about listening to their bodies and working with their natural rhythms.
I love that. Tell me more about their approach. I'm always looking for inspiration.
So Kilian, he's all about working with nature, honoring his body's signals. He talks about running to connect with the mountains, not conquer them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Not battling yourself or the environment, but finding that flow. There's a theme here. It's not about forcing, but working with how your body naturally is. What about Shalane?
She's big on balance, intense training, but then deliberate recovery. Known for her work ethic, but she also stresses easy miles, rest days, even taking time completely OF when needed.
This is great proof you don't got to grind yourself to dust to be elite. It's working smarter, not just harder. But is there, like, science to back this up?
Oh, tons. The article cites studies showing how overtraining actually makes you worse and more prone to injuries.
Perfect. Let's get into that research. Anecdotes are cool, but the science is what really convinces me.
You got it. So this study in the Journal of Sports Medicine,
Okay, hit me with it.
they looked at athletes prioritizing recovery. Guess what? Greater long-term gains than those who just hammered it nonstop.
Makes you think. It's like sometimes got to slow down to speed up. Rest isn't just about avoiding burnout. It's how you unlock your potential, like a secret weapon.
It really is. And another study, this one was in the European Journal of Sport Science, looked at mental fatigue. Turns out, pushing too hard for too long can really mess with your decision-making and focus, which, impacts performance.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's like when you're so tired you can't think straight. Trying to nail paces or race strategy when your brain's fried. No wonder it leads to bad decisions.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just running. Think about any part of your life where you're pushing too hard, no rest, basically sacrificing yourself for the grind.
Whoa, you're right. This goes way beyond running. Work, relationships, hobbies. We're told to hustle nonstop. Rest is like a double word.
It's everywhere, and it's so harmful. We glorify burnout instead of realizing you can't give what you don't have. Got to take care of yourself to show up fully anywhere in life.
That's so powerful. This running deep dive is turning into a life deep dive. So, how do we actually break free from this? The article had some practical stuff. Where do we even begin?
First, this takes time. It's unlearning years of beliefs, but it's worth it. Start by noticing when you're falling back into that no pain, no gain thinking.
Like, give me a real life example.
Okay, you're planning your training week. Do you feel guilty scheduling rest days or easy runs? Like you're cheating. That's a sign you're still in that old mindset.
Busted. Totally guilty of that. Always got to be pushing the limit. Every single run.
And that's where the article's advice comes in. Those rest days, easy runs, they're not optional. They're essential for your progress and your health.
Mindset shift. I'm ready for it. What are some tips to actually rest more without the guilt trip?
What helps me is scheduling rest like a workout. Put it in the calendar, non-negotiable appointment with yourself.
That's so smart. Takes the decision out of it, less likely to skip it.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to adjust your plan. Life happens. Sometimes you need more rest. Remember, work with your body, not against it. Feeling run down. Swap a hard workout for an easy one, or even a full day off.
Okay, this is huge. I'm giving myself permission to rest. No more guilt.
Love it.
Yeah.
And remember, recovery isn't just physical. It's mental, emotional too.
Right. It's easy to focus on the body and forget our minds need a break too.
Big time. So make time for stuff that de-stresses you. Reading, nature, meditation, hanging out with people you enjoy, whatever works, make it a priority.
This is all so helpful. I'm realizing rest is like a missing piece I've been ignoring for so long.
It's huge EE for so many people. And the coolest thing is when you prioritize recovery, you're often more productive and energetic overall.
Wait, so it's not just about not getting hurt, it actually makes us better.
Yep. Think of it this way. You take care of yourself, you're setting yourself up for success everywhere in life.
It's wild, right? We started talking about running and now it's like this whole philosophy of life thing.
I know. But it makes sense. How we train often reflects how we live. If we're constantly pushing in one area, we probably do it in others too.
Totally. That's why this article's so cool. Even if you're not a runner, it's like a wake-up call to see where we might be glorifying the grind, even at the cost of our own well-being.
Right. We're told to hustle all the time, like it's a badge of honor to be stressed and burnt out. But honestly, you can't give your best if you're running on empty.
It's like we've been sold this lie that suffering equals success. But what if there's another way? What if we can achieve our goals? Ain't feel good doing it?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think the key is that balance. Effort and rest, pushing ourselves, but also taking care of ourselves. Rest isn't a reward, it's part of the process.
Love that. It's like instead of work hard, play hard, it's work smart, rest well, play hard.
Yes. And that balance is going to look different for everyone. What matters is you figure out what works for you and honor that. No guilt, no shame.
So giving ourselves permission to listen to our bodies, set boundaries, and take care of ourselves no matter what.
Exactly. Rest is a superpower, not a weakness.
Speaking of, what if we could use that power, that rest, not just for running, but for everything? Our creativity, our work, even our relationships.
Now you're thinking big. Imagine a world where rest is celebrated, not seen as lazy, where we value mental and emotional health just as much as physical health, where burnout is assigned to change something, not a brag.
It's a whole different mindset, and maybe that's how we unlock our true potential as individuals and as a society.
I love that vision. And honestly, I think it starts with each of us, one person at a time, choosing to rest, to set boundaries, to honor ourselves.
So powerful. What's the one thing you want everyone listening to remember?
You are capable of amazing things without sacrificing your well-being. Don't buy into the suffering myth. Embrace rest, recharge, and watch yourself thrive.
Amazing advice. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the cult of hard work and running. Hope it's got you thinking about your own relationship with effort and success and maybe inspired you to try a more balanced approach. Thanks for joining us.